Welcome to Toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from Toy-polloi, and in today's video we're taking a look at an all-new playset from Palitoys based on the Action Force toy line. Now, I've reviewed playsets from Palitoys before. You'll have seen me review their Star Wars ones, and this is the first time that they are stepping out of the Star Wars universe and moving into the Action Force world. And this playset is designed to work with the red shadows, which are ruled by Baron Ironblood, who you can see here on the right. It looks like an interesting set. I've not actually taken it out of the box yet, and so we're going to be building it and constructing it today and seeing what it looks like. This is based on the Destruction of Alderaan playset that they did for Star Wars. It uses the same sort of base, although I think it has been modified. It's the same sort of layout, but it's designed to look like it should work with Action Force. So let's take a closer look at the box, and then we'll get the playset out and see what that looks like. So here we go. This is the Baron's Lair, the new set from Palitoys, and it is Paleetoy, not Palitoys, because it is Lee who creates these. These are modern playsets designed to look like the sort of playset that Palitoy would have made back in the 80s. So they're a vacuum formed base with cardboard bits and stickers stuck on them, and they look really nice. If you haven't checked out some of my previous reviews, do go and check those out. So this is designed to work with the red shadows, who are fronted by Baron Ironblood, who is this character here, and you actually see him in the background. And there's a sort of the evil force in the Action Force world, the ones that everybody is trying to stop. The box, as you can see, shows the playset on the front with a few sort of close-up images, has the name of the Baron's Lair on the front, and it also says that this is for ages 40 and up. The back of the box is exactly the same. Now, I know from looking at shots that Lee has sent me that this image on the front is actually an image of a prototype version, so what is inside looks slightly different to this. So I'm going to be intrigued to see what the final version looks like. And the base that he has used here, the vacuum formed base, is very similar to the one that he used on the Destruction of Alderaan set, although I know he has modified it to have the sort of skull and crossbones logo of the red shadows on the bottom. So let's get all of the contents of this box out and we'll see what they look like, and then we'll actually put the set together. So this is what is inside the box. You get a vacuum formed base, a few extra pieces to build up some sort of control panels, bits of cardboard to build the backing, and a sticker sheet, and also an instruction sheet. Now, the base is made out of vacuum formed plastic that's been stuck to a thick piece of card, and you can see here that we now have the red shadows logo in the sort of front of the vacuum forming. That is really clever. I've actually no idea how you would produce something like that. It's a really nicely made piece. There's lots of details, and it is, as I say, pretty sturdily made. I imagine this is a 2 or 3 millimeter thick styrene sheet. It looks like 2 millimeter thick, so it's going to take some forming to get this to make that shape, but it looks fantastic. We've got all these pieces of card as well, so this is the card backing that you have to sort of stick here, but we need to do a little bit of sort of stickering first, because there is a sticker sheet here, and on the instructions it shows you where to place those. So I need to put the stickers on. That's the sticker sheet. And with the sets that you get from Palitoys, I like to do a little bit of cleanup. You can tell these are all handmade. They're not made in a factory. So some of the pieces, these little console pieces, the edges are a little bit rough where they've been cut. It looks like they've been cut with a bandsaw or something like that. So they're a little bit on the rough side. I just like to tidy those up a bit and do a little bit of sanding just to take the burrs off, just to make it look that little bit more finished. But you don't need to do that really. It's just something that I like to do to make this look as sort of tidy and neat as possible. So I'm going to tidy those up, then I'm going to get all of the stickers stuck on as well, and then we can construct the playset and put a few action figures on it. Let's see what it looks like. So that's the set put together. It's really pretty straightforward. It's just adding a few stickers, a little bit of sort of folding of cardboard. I've actually got a few stickers left, which I'm not quite sure about. There's an extra strip there, which I think is just there because it's useful to have, because putting these long strips on can be a little bit tricky. We've also got this little sticker here, which in the Destruction of Alderaan playset, you have a little mouse droid that comes with it, and there's a sticker to go on the front of that. So that looks like that should go on a mouse droid. I didn't get a mouse droid with this set, so maybe it doesn't come with it, and they just sort of thought that it might be a good idea and then sort of didn't go with it. So I'm not quite sure what that sticker's for, but as you can see, the set looks really good. So let's put some figures on it and get it all set up properly. And there you go, just adding the figures makes this set look absolutely fantastic. I think it works so well as a little display piece. I love the sort of vibrant red floor with all of sort of the dark detailing. You've got the logo for the red shadows, which is this sort of skull and crossbone dotted around the back. And as I said, if you look at the box, that had some prototype images, so that's all been changed now just to sort of have the red shadows branding on it. If you look at the mutons on either side, we've got their little control panels that they're working on, their control stations, and behind them we have maps of the world showing sort of red shadow logos. I'm guessing that's where they're having battles at the moment. And then in the background we have Baron Ironblood standing in front of a picture of Baron Ironblood, which I think is exactly what he would do. There's so much detail going on this, it just gives it a real nice sort of depth to it. And then we've got these little doorways at the back, and if I turn the set around you can see there are more computer control panels on the other side with mutons. So let's take a look at those. So through each of those doorways, this is what you see. We've got another panel here with much more sort of stuff going on. We've got a couple of red shadow soldiers and a muton and that working on a little computer station sort of in the background artwork, but then we also have this little computer terminal that you can stand some figures at. It just adds that extra little bit of detail to the sort of background, and it means that the playset does have some real depth, because from the front you can see through and you can put other figures behind. I just think that's a really nice feature. It worked really well on the Destruction of Alderaan set, and I think it works just as well on this. And I do really like that there's so many details in this background, like the logos, and we also have an image of the Robo Skull there on one of the display screens. It just adds that extra little bit of depth and knowledge of the toy line itself. On the other side you can see the artwork is slightly different, so we just have a couple of red shadows there, one working at a terminal, one on guard, and then we have the shadow track on the computer screen. Just again adds that extra little bit of detail to the background. The way this set has been constructed really does make it feel like it's something that Palitoy would have produced back in the day. They often did things like vac forming bases and used sort of cheap cardboard and things to create playsets that made them a more affordable toy that kids could buy. So I think what Lee is doing here is really reminiscent of that sort of era of toys. I really like the fact that this is just a sort of reworking of the previous playset with a little bit of details added here with the red shadows, skull and crossbones, a new background. We've got a completely different playset that works with a completely different line of toys compared to the Star Wars figure. So I think it's a really clever use of it. If you want to get this set for yourself, then do follow the links in the description for this video. This is the first time that Lee has worked on Action Force toy lines. The previous ones have been all Star Wars related, and do check out those reviews. I will put links to those as well at the end of this video, so go and check those out. But it's a really nice set. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I like the way it's constructed. I like the fact that it just looks like an old toy set that you would have got back in the 80s. I think that was such a nice thing to do. You don't want to make a modern set to go with old figures. You want to make a set that fits with the era of the toys, and I think this works absolutely perfectly. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.